Welcome back. Yes sir. So international friendly is here. Kenya versus Qatar. Kickoff in just a few minutes. And so my prediction is, so first of all, do check out my very correct predictions of this game by clicking the link or checking out our shots after this. You'll be surprised over how correct I was. Anyway, we have a lot to discuss regarding the Kenya versus Qatar game. I'm excited about it, and so do check out this video until the end. Stay tuned. Finally facing it all, fearless. So yeah, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever or wherever you're watching this video. Thank you so much for tuning to L4B Love Football. As always, do check out our other social media platforms at L4B Love Football. And so, big shout out to Kenya for beating Qatar 2-1. It was actually a pretty late game. Both teams missing a lot of chances. The game happened yesterday, it occurred yesterday. Kickoff was set for 6:15 East African time. It was hosted by Qatar. It was in Qatar, Al Janoub Stadium. Pretty decent game, no lie. This was probably one of the best Kenyan games I have seen. And so it was pretty good. There are a lot of question marks. We discussed Kenya, the provisional squad. Again, we put the video somewhere up over here, the provisional squad that was selected. But we can discuss the lineup that was the starting lineup that faced Qatar. So we had Byron Odhiambo Omondi in goal. Left back we had Eric Ouma. We had Johnston Omwara, Joseph Okumu, Daniel Anyembe. Left wing we had Elvis Rupia. In the mid we had Anthony Akumu, Kenneth Muguna, Richard Odada, and right wing we had Masoud Juma, and up top we had our skipper Michael Olunga. So what stood out is the fact that we had Elvis Rupia, who's actually a striker for he moved now to TZ, but formerly of Kenya Police, playing as a winger. We also have Juma, who also can play up top, playing as a winger, and we had wingers on the bench. So that was actually one of the question marks that when we review the lineup, it was a pretty decent mid. I think this is a mid that can, especially with Akumu and Odada, this is a mid that can be long term. It was pretty solid. And so reviewing part of the game, we had a huge chance for Michael Olunga in the 12th, 13th minute, one-on-one with the keeper. I think that chance was poorly taken. I also think the 16th minute chance for Masoud Juma was also a chance that should have been buried. And then moving on to the controversial point whereby we had Marcelo, the collision with Marcelo and their forward, and it was in the 31st minute. A number of people would think that wasn't a penalty. I think it wasn't a penalty. And so, controversial moments. It's football. 67th minute, we had a crazy block by Okumu. Ridiculous block, actually, by Okumu. This was after scoring. Okumu scored the goal, by the way, as well as Nondi. It was a pretty crazy game. But this block was actually really good. And we can see why the man is now playing in France. 68th minute, no less, a minute later, 68th minute, we had Michael Olunga deflection onto the goal. By the way, we were about to be scored. By the 73rd minute, we only had two subs made, which is Timbe and Nondi. Were they impactful? I don't think, at the time actually, I didn't think so. Only for Nondi to score a last minute goal. One of the question marks about this game is the fact that Muguna played. Well, Muguna is of quality. He's such a talented player, but this guy had such a poor game. And as footballers, we all have those sort of games. But I was shocked with the fact that Duke Aboya, who's doing incredibly well in TZ, didn't come on earlier, so he came on about the 86th minute, and so that for me was a bit question marks over there. But as a friendly match, to see some of your players, I think the fact that we only made 4 substitutions during this game was a bit sad, because we had 7 players who played full 90. Whereas the other team had a complete shuffle. They had numerous substitutions, actually, complete shuffle. And so that's another thing, the fact that we only made 4 substitutions, man. We had players who went to Qatar and were just training other players, man. But it was a good game, a good finish. That moment, crazy. So for me, my man of the match, no doubt, was Anthony Akumu. I'm shocked that this guy is not playing so much football, actually, so much club football, but this guy was looking decent from the get-go. He ended up with a yellow card, a silly foul, but he gave also just a few missed passes, but he was pretty solid, pretty comfortable. The players who stood out for me were Johnstone and Okumu. The partnership was crazy. Okumu would have been my man of the match, but Akumu did crazy stuff. His header, Joseph Okumu's header was ridiculous. Crazy stuff we see in the English Premier League. Daniel Anyemba was also another guy who was just pretty comfortable, pretty decent right back. So that was it for today's video. Do check out our other social media platforms at L4B Love Football. Excited for the next game. I hope I can catch it and do the same. Sorry if I wasn't able to share more videos and pictures, but hopefully the next game. So do check it out. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, and as always, support Kenyan football. We out.